think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final race for Division 1. We are here for the Brazilian Grand Prix. I'm probably a voice that you haven't heard in a while, only because I've actually been racing in this division a few times just to kind of fill up the numbers. But I thought for a final race, I've got to commentate over it. So I am joined by, I don't know, should I just say Tam, Dake, Dak, Dan? I don't know. I really don't. How do you pronounce it?
Right. I've got about 50 different names at this point, so I don't really care or mind or anything.
All right, I'm joined by Dan
So yeah,
for
just
the D1 stream for today. I'll just say Dan. Why not? But as you can see on your guys' screen, we have actually got the standings up for Division One. So we've obviously got Harry that's already won the championship on a whopping 204 points. We've got Rick who is in P2. Funny enough, Rick actually isn't racing today, but he's already solidified his second position. Now this is where it gets interesting. Is P3 and P4, both Mitch and Joom are on the same amount of points on 115. Now, Joom is racing, but Mitch isn't. So, Joom, if he finishes in the points, he's snagged third place. But that's not all, because you still have Spine, who's only 8 points behind him. So, Spine on 107, and I know he is capable of getting a race win, so he could overtake Joom and maybe even snag that third position for himself. New Waluigi is in P6, only 6 points behind Spine, so he could also be one to possibly end up getting into P3. He's just got to hope some things goes his way and that Spine and Doom somehow end up DNFing or not getting any points. And same with Larkin. He's on 90 points. He is dead on 25 points behind Doom and Mitch. If he wins the race and none of those guys up ahead of him end up getting in the points or end up getting 8 points or less, he takes P3, which is quite weird, but at the same time, it would be a very good result for Larkin. Down in P8, we have the Mercedes of Decky. The Mercedes have wrapped up the constructors. They're the constructors winners. But he's not actually racing today either. I think he's still just trying to do some, I think it's exams for himself. And then we have the two Toro Rossos of Own and Jarry. Only 1 point between them. And if I'm corrected, they're both racing. So we'll see who comes out on top with the Toro Rossos. But I mean, predictions for yourself? Who would you think is going to take the P3?
the P3. Well, I think for me, I think it has to be Jim. I hate to be boring, but he's just in the best position out of all those guys. Spain. Well, you see in this qualifying session, I don't know if you've removed the
Yeah.
overlay yet. You see, he's put in a very impressive 6.7, which as a banker is actually a very solid time. But Jim, he's got that, believe an 8 point advantage uh, over Spain. So I'd say that as long as he just has a solid race, keeps it on track, does what he needs to do, I think he'll have that P3.
Yeah, it will be tight. It is going to be really close between both Spine and Doom. Doom's just got to come in and do what he's got to do. As long as he finishes 8 points ahead of Spine and 14 points ahead of New Waluigi, and at least gets in the points, he's got the P3 for sure. Um, just
Yes.
having a look in the chat, Janel has actually just put in the chat saying that there's rain at the end of the race.
Wow. Okay. That is definitely going to be one thing to look out for, of course. Rain at Interlagos, not exactly an uncommon thing, but it's always going to be good to see how this affects the way these guys are going to go about it in terms of strategy. I'm not too familiar on the strategy for this track, to be honest. We're just going to see how they get on though, and maybe they'll have to adapt both qualifying and the race to suit the rain that's going to come for them at the end of the race.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to actually end up happening. It is interesting, but I'm on board with Chapelele at the moment. Currently just making his way around. He's already gone past Center S. He's gone past Sector 1. He did go a little bit wide coming out the exit of Turn 4, though, so he might have invalidated his lap.
Yeah, that's going to be one to look out for. The Ferrari man still pushing on by the looks of things, still in high on the RS mode. So we're going to see here as he moves into, I believe it's the Bico Tapato, looks to try and get a good sweeping line, gets on the power, and now around the penultimate corner into Jun Xiao now. and he's just got to nail this exit, get on the power nicely, onto the outside curb, and releases that prancing horse, and no, he's backed off. Brilliant. It's always nice when you have an anticlimax.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Jim has popped himself up into P2 just behind his rival Spain by about a tenth and a half. So as the Cerberus will have almost have a little bit of a run in there. But yeah, so Jim pops himself up to P2, but Spain taking the upper hand in that battle so far. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops. So currently Spain top of the timesheets, but still a long way to go in this session.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Harry's just decided to prove everyone wrong and saying that he can go even faster than everybody else and goes 2 attempts quicker than Spine. So Spine now up into P2. Harry obviously overtaking him. Did I say Spine or Harry that done 2 attempts faster?
Harry.
Oh, okay, thank God. But just on board with Larkin, just coming through the tight and twisty sector 2 in a moment. Getting the power straight down, coming up to the penultimate corner. Is he going to get a nice exit for it? He does it indeed. Straight on the power is the Force Indian man. Is he going to improve on his time from 107.3? He just goes straight into the pits.
Another anticlimax.
Without a doubt. What about the two McLarens? They're just about to start their laps, I believe. In fact, New Luigi's still in the second sector, but V5 is about to start his lap.
V5 over the line to get on this qualifying lap into the Senna S there. Keeps it in third gear, puts it up to fourth to turn 2 and 3 to get good traction. Now he's in overtake mode, powering down the back straight into turn 4. He's going to shift up to 8th gear, get on the brakes at about 75 metres, right up onto the outside, chucks it in, making the track as wide as he can. And now opens up the throttle once again, up into overtake mode, and now going into Ferradura, turn 6, down into 5th gear briefly, and tries to keep it on the track, runs onto the curb, but keeps it on. Hopefully the Rhino of Janul up ahead gets out the way nicely. This is just interfering with V5's lap a little bit. He goes past, but I think that may have cost V5 just an inch of time. There's a new one. Anyway, V5 gets on the power, a little bit of a slide on traction as he heads into Junshao now, and of course all on the exit here. Gets on the power nicely, no real slide from the McLaren, and now heading down to the line, and he's going to open the DRS, takes the shortest run to the line, and it's 7.4. Was that an improvement? I believe it was.
It was, yeah. Yeah, it was an improvement. I think before he was on a 0, it was on an 8.1. So improving it by 7 tenths. I think he was on the harder compounded tyre though, so that's obviously why he was a bit slower through that. Still could do with being a bit louder. For some reason, it's Larky keeps on saying that your mic's a bit quiet. Let me just turn you up a little bit. I'm hoping that's a lot better.
Okay.
So hopefully your mic should be a lot better now.
Well, I have no way of telling, but if the chat could give us some feedback on that, that'd be much appreciated. Anyone on a lap? I believe Shaps just finished the lap. He's popped in a pretty solid time there with a 6.9. Puts himself up amongst the best in this division, so I think he can be proud of his efforts, and he should be able to get another run in. Who else is on the lap? Larkin's coming through turn 4 now, a bit wide there. Hopefully he's got away with that and not invalidated, as thanks to your teammate in the chat, just saying that everything is perfect. Again, wide out of turn 6 is Larkin. But yeah, just about able to keep it going. He's still pushing as hard as he can. And I've seen something on Discord about Jim, but I was just checking to see if he was alright. He still seems to be fine though. As Larkin now goes into the final corner, turn 15 I believe, onto the brakes, gets all the power. It's nice and smooth from the Force India. And of course P7 at the moment, maybe can find a few tenths on this lap. He should still have time for another one after this. DRS wide open up into 8th gear, up to the line, and it's a 7.1. That's not bad at all from Larkin. Pops himself into P6 just ahead of Janot. and just behind Game Boys by a couple of hundred. So not bad from Larkin. He's going to run round, I believe, or is he going to go in for another lap? Who knows? But solid lap from him. He goes into P6.
Yeah, I think Larkin's probably going to end up just coming into the pits. It won't surprise me if he does. He's not going to be able to do another lap on these super softs and then come in and then go back out. So yeah, I believe he's going to just come back into the pits, get himself on a fresh set of super softs and try and get in the sixes along with the top four. Interestingly enough, Chapelele on the in the sixes ahead of quite a few of the D1 guys. He's the only one that's from Division 2 that's in this race. Obviously, with me, White Chihuahua and Tiggerby not being in a race because we're the championship contestants for D2, and they don't want to ruin that with us getting a bit of practice. So yeah, Chapelele being the only one in D2 at the moment that's racing in D1, and he's showing us up quite well, to be honest.
Still 4 minutes left in the session. We'll have to see. One of those guys ahead of him, Spine, is just approaching the line now. He's got 2 tenths to find on Harry. Finds a bit of time, but only about half a tenth. He's still in a good position in that battle for P3, but Jim is close enough to him that that's not going to make a difference. Spine, he is showing good pace, certainly, but with Harry, once again, just looking absolutely supreme. This guy, he finds just obscene amounts of pace. I don't know where he gets it from. And you can see why he's the West Division champion. I say that, I've gone on board with him. He's had a massive moment going through the middle sector. But yeah, Harry, as always, as it seems, just on the pace and just showing everyone up, really.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just on board with Jarry. I think Spine had, I think he's just on his in lap because he's just slowed right down just to let Jarry through. Not the safest place, but he's obviously managed to get through with him anyway. But yeah, now Jarry just coming down to set his first lap of qualifying. He's left it till quite late, but I don't think that's going to stop him from setting a decent time. Is Jarry going to be able to get in the sixes as he's coming around the final corner now? Is he going to be able to get in the sixes? No, he's going straight in the pits. So these drivers, they're just giving us so much anticlimax.
I think that's probably quite a wise choice from Jari, though, because if he'd gone round another lap, he would have been cutting it quite close for time on his final run. But of course now he's got everything riding on the one lap, and of course that puts pressure on him. He tends to be reasonable under pressure. Of course he's won a couple of titles in the lesser division. Don't come at me, please. So yeah. So yeah, we know he can deliver. He's just not. He's in the tough competition of D1. He has struggled just a little bit this season. Still on course for a good top 10 finish. Oh, Jerry, thanks for confirming that the lap was invalid. You could have told us that earlier. Not that you could have, but whatever. His teammate owned, believe, just starting a flying lap then. He's on it's the softs, yeah. I always get confused with the 2019 tyre regulations in real life, but there's the soft tyres he has got fitted and the Toro Rosso going into Sector 2 now, and just going to try and put in the best lap he can. This could be his final lap, so he's going to have to make this count.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think he just done a banker lap on the super soft tyres doing a 108.4, or that was just on the mediums.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was on the mediums, so he did go a little bit wide coming up the hill then, so hopefully that hasn't invalidated his lap, but it looks like, he has invalidated it.
Yeah,
He's gone on 0 ERS,
yeah.
so unfortunate for Oni. He has still got one more shot to be able to go for a lap, so hopefully it doesn't affect him that much. New Waluigi is just about to start his lap. I think his teammate is also just about to start his lap. Who else? Larkin. Larkin's on already on his lap now. Getting a bit of a tow from, I think that was Spine, I believe? No, it wasn't. Yeah. It was Janel.
I mean, I've just seen. He was just behind Spain when I caught him. The Haas driver giving him a decent 2 up to turn 6. Larkin once again going through the middle sector. He has a decent lap down already, but he's going to look to improve. I think he's aiming at that Ferrari of Chapelele personally. I think he's going to be the target man for the race winner a couple of weeks ago. And now the Force India sweeps around into the final corner, uses the track on entry, uses second gear. I think he's one of the only drivers to have done that, just to try and get the bite in the rotation through the corner. and I don't know if he'll have enough ERS for another flying lap. He's going to give it everything up to the line. Where does Force India go? He does a 7 dead. It's not, doesn't quite get Shapalili. It is a decent time though. He does go ahead of Game Boys. I believe he was behind him. So Larkin up into P5. Luigi also on a lap. He's on a 7.7 on the soft tires. So he's unable to really get up the grid. But just when you're on those soft tires, it's such a close. When the field is generally so close, you're not really gonna. It's not really gonna do much for you in qualifying, indeed. So Luigi now down the field a bit. Game Boys was, I don't believe he improved on his final lap. We're just waiting for some of the other drivers to go around and try and put in the best laps they can.
Yeah, indeed. I was just actually on board with Own. He's managed to go ahead of New Waluigi on those soft tyres. So, Own into P9, overtaking New Waluigi on the softs. Cantera and Jarry still haven't done a lap yet, and they're relying on this to be their lap. They need this. They need to have a decent lap. I'm going on board with Jarry as he's just about to come across the line. He didn't do a time. He must have invalidated it. So, unfortunate for the Toro Rosso driver. I'm now going on board with Cantera, who is just coming around the penultimate corner now and seeing if he's gonna, if he's actually invalidated his lap or if he's managed to get a lap set. So let's see. Is Cantera gonna be able to get a lap in? He didn't as well. And Harry's gone even faster. I can't even say it's a surprise at this point. Doom hasn't managed to improve. And I think that is everyone's qualifying done.
Yeah, that's it.
That is it. So, Harry, once again, proving he is the fastest driver on the grid. Congratulations to him. I think it was Spine that was in second with Doom in third. So this battle for P3 is really starting to shape up. If it stays how it is, Doom is going to end up finishing in third. But we've still got the whole race to go. Chapelele is in fourth. He could be a part in that P3 for the championship. He could easily, if he overtakes Doom, it's going to give Spine a massive opportunity, and same with Larkin, who's down in P5, with Janel in P6, Game Boys down in 7th, V5 in 8th, Own and New Waluigi in 9th and 10th on the soft compound of tyres, and Cantera and Jarry get their own choice, but they didn't manage to set a lap.
And that is gonna round it off. So yes, that battle for P3 in the standings hots up with Spain edging out Doom by just over 0.2 of a second. Clearly, well, maybe has a pace advantage over the Spaniard. And Jim's gonna have to watch himself. He's got a couple of quick guys just on his tail, and if he gets away poorly, it could leave him a bit exposed. So even though I've said he's in the best position, he just needs to get the job done. Yeah, he's got to watch himself out there, and also you can't forget there is going to be rain at the end of this race, so that could throw another spanner in the works. So Jim, even though he's in a good position right now, he's got it all to play for, and he's got to be looking over his shoulder to make sure that he doesn't get caught out early on.
Yeah, certainly as well. This is going to benefit Cantera and Jarry massively, because if they both go on the medium tyres, with rain being at the end of the race, they probably would only need to just take the mediums to when it starts to rain, and they'd be laughing. They'd probably be up in the top two, because everyone else would have had to pit. So I think they are definitely ones to watch out for, those two outside of the top 10. Obviously, everyone's going to be scoring points because it's 12 positions for a point. So just as long as they make the 90%, which I think is lap 33, if my maths isn't bad.
So yeah, I believe that's right enough, but. Yeah, so we're just watching these guys head out on the formation laps. You can see just from the weather, it is definitely overcast, very much so. So there are signs that the rain is coming, and that's going to be playing on every one of these drivers' minds. But looking at this, Harry leads them away. Don't think he's got much to worry about. Of course, he's the champion, so he can just go out and enjoy himself here in this final race of the League of Europe for its first season. And yeah, so Harry. Do you expect that he's just going to run away with this one as he has done several times this season? Because we know the pace he has. Spain wasn't too far away from him, but I think Harry just with all that experience, all that racecraft that he's developed over the course of this season. Do you think he'll be able to run away with it once again?
I think Harry will. I don't see anyone else but Harry winning this race in Brazil. Who do I think will get in second is a different story. I reckon June will end up taking Spine off of the line. With those two battling, Chapelele and Larkin, they're just going to be right on their tail. It just depends on who's going to be able to do what. I personally say June is going to be the one that's finishing in second and going to get P3 in this championship.
Well, different storylines, different different can't speak, different ones to watch if you like. We've got those guys starting outside the top 10. We've got soft starters. We've got title contenders. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating as the last of the cars now line up on the grid. I'll let you take it away for the final race of the League of Europe season.
Interestingly enough as well, before we start, Cantera's gone on mediums, Jarry's gone on softs, so it's going to be interesting. But the 5 red lights are coming on right now. And away everyone goes. And it looks like Spine has actually got a really good start. June did not look like he got the start he wanted. And it looks like Janel is trying to move his way up into P5. Game Boys and V5 are side by side. And I think Game Boys has managed to just hold it. Larkin right up the back of Chapelele. But I don't think he's managed to get the move done. I'm going to go on board with Larkin. He's side by side with Chapelele coming up towards turn 4. Janel's trying to get in the action as well. Trying to go 3 wide in towards turn 4. But I think Larkin is swinging it around the outside. Him and Chapelele are still side by side, and I think Larkin might just have it going up the hill. He does. Oh no, Chapelele still tries to hold it around the outside, but I don't think he's able to get the move done. And that is now Larkin up into P4, trying to chase down these guys in the top 3.
Larkin and Chapelele going side by side has cost them time to the top 3, and that's exactly what June would have wanted. It's a clean start for the man who looks the favourite for P3 in the championship. Nemo Luigi tried to go all the way, or go the long way around the outside of Owen down there at the Pico Pato. Couldn't quite make it work. There's some debris randomly appearing on my screen. I don't know what's going on there. Certainly the midfield and the back of the field very bunched up, but it's Harry who's got the start out in the lead of this race, looking comfortable and looking strong out front, as now the cars now come over the line. We've got V5 starting to pressure on Game Boys. The Williams driver holds firm in P7 just behind Jano. Jano didn't quite have the pace of qualifying that we might have expected, but the Rhino van, who almost had a go at Chapelele and Larkin into turn 4 on the last lap, he's chasing down those two ahead of him. But currently the top 3 with a decent gap over the rest of the field. Jim's where he wants to be in the early stages.
Yeah, Jim, he just wants to hold it up in P3. As soon as he does P3, that's all he needs to do. He just needs to finish in 3rd. And that gives him P3 in the championship. So if he wants to try and retain that P3, he's just got to stay where he is. He hasn't really got to do much more. He hasn't got past Spine. As long as he stays where he is, and then it looks like the top 3 have already got a massive gap to P4 from Larkin. Only because, obviously, as you said from earlier, the battle of Chapelele himself and Janel all trying to go 3 wide up towards turn 4 has cost them a bit of time. But Chapelele is looking all on the back of Larkin, seeing if he can try and get that P5 back, or P4 back. Sorry. Don't think he's able to get it down in turn 1. He's a bit too far away. But DRS has now been enabled. He's not actually going to have the DRS going after the center S's. So I think he'll have to wait until the beginning of the next lap, or sorry, the end of this lap, to even get a chance of getting an overtake done on the Pink Flamingo Force India.
Ozone was looking the man on the move there as he looked to chase down V5 into turn 4, but nothing came of it. Out front, Harry is trying to break that DRS of Spine, but Spine is holding on quite nicely there, keeping that gap just under a second between himself and the leaner Mercedes. Jim maybe not quite having the pace of those top 2, but still just holding firm, as Larkin's not able to chase him down because he's having to worry of that threatening Ferrari behind. We know from qualifying that Chap does have very good pace at this track, and I think that's going to be another thing to look out for in the race later on in D2. But now with double DRS here, it was a good exit off the final corner for both Larkin and Chapelele, but Chapelele has slipstream DRS. Larkin's in overtake mode, Chap's in overtake mode. These guys now both going at it as they approach the center ice, but it's going to be a big move for Chap if he wants to go from that distance, and sensibly enough, he does back out. Larkin a bit wide through turn 1 and turn 2. Ciappellilli able to stick nice and close, and this is the first opportunity for the Ferrari man to strike back. Spain was getting very close to Harry, up in the lead of the race, but now down the inside goes Shap on Larkin. Larkin's going to give him the space nicely. Shap holds it on the inside. Larkin takes a slight trip through the grass. He's now lost momentum. Through goes the Ferrari. He's up into P4, and Larkin unable to get back into Ferradura. So that's another swap of places in that battle, but that's just allowing the top three to break further and further clear. Larkin losing out there. He's going to be hungry to strike back.
Yeah, he is indeed. I think what happened was Larkin just, I think he had the space, but I think he may have just broke it a little bit too late and got caught a little bit off guard from Ciappellilli, and I think he just went a bit too wide and went on the grass, and that's what's cost him the place. But he is going to have the DRS on Ciappellilli. Ciappellilli isn't going to have any slipstream, any DRS on anyone. Janel just had a little bit of a moment there, cost him quite a bit of time. It's going to allow Game Boys to even try and catch up to him and see if Game Boys is actually going to be able to get the overtake done on the Renault driver. I'm going to stick on board with him. And no, he's a bit too far away. Larkin a bit too far away from Ciappellilli as well, so he's not going to be able to do it coming out of turn 1. But he gets a nice exit out of the centre S's. And again, with Ciappellilli not having any DRS or slipstream, this could be an opportunity. As I'm saying that, though, Spine is right behind Harry. He's all up the back of him. Larkin, by the way, didn't manage to get the place done on Ciappellilli, but as I said, Spine is right behind Harry for the race lead. Is he going to be able to get the move done on the, well, the championship winner? I don't think he's been able to do it in Sector 2, but as we're coming up to the finish line, is he going to be able to get past him coming up in towards turn 1? We will have to wait and see, as they're now coming around the penultimate corner. Is
Spain has done an excellent job of saving ERS. He's got much more in the tank than Harry, and Harry's having to conserve that now as Spain looks to the inside into turn 1 but hangs back because he knows there's a DRS zone coming up on the run up to turn 4. But it was a great exit off of turn 1 from Harry, but that's not a good exit off of turn 2. Gets a big slap of oversteer, and now the momentum is with the Haas man, and Harry knows that. Hard to the inside, right outside goes Spain into turn 4. Harry's a little bit later on the brakes, he's going to stick it out the inside, squeezes the Haas driver off the track. That was naughty from Harry. He really got his elbows out there, but you can say he had the inside line and he had right of way there, I suppose. So Spain has a go around the outside. Punchy defending from Harry, holds on to the lead for now.
Yeah, I've also just noticed Janel has actually managed to get past Larkin. I think that was just down the DRS straight as well. And this is now allowing Ciappellilli to try and build a gap up from these guys in 5th and 6th position. But Larkin, I know, is not going to be giving this position up. He's going to want to try and get past Janel as fast as he can to try and catch up to Ciappellilli once again. Did look like he was going to try and do a little bit of a move down in the tight right-hand hairpin, but I don't think he was able to. Janel, and again, having a massive moment. He does not like that corner. And that's, as you said, that's just going to drop massive amounts of momentum, and it's just going to give it all to Larkin. And even Game Boys, who's just behind him. Janel moving to the inside. Larkin has got a lot of overspeed, trying to go around the outside of the Renault driver. And he's not able to. It looked like there was a little bit of decent contact, but both still carrying on. Game Boys still just behind Larkin. I have a feeling we're going to see another 3 wide going in towards turn 4. Larkin trying to go around the outside of Janel and not able to do so. Game Boys is also still just remaining in P7, but Larkin is trying to go down the inside of Janel, coming up towards the hill. They're going side by side up the hill, and I think they're still side by side. I thought Larkin actually had it then, but he's going to have the inside line here, and I think that must be it for Janel, as Game Boys has actually just hit the rear of Larkin. I don't think he lost any wing from it, but they're still side by side with each other. These two, this is quality racing between the pair of them, but Larkin, he's managed to get ahead. I think Janel just went a bit in the grass and that was it. So brilliant racing from the pair of them. It's not over yet though. We've still got this massive train. It's what, from 5th down to 11th? This is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, great racing from Larkin and Janel. It's not over yet. The Renault driver comes back at the Force India to the outside, but Larkin isn't going to give it up easily. He holds his own down the inside of turn 1 and round the outside of turn 2. Janel's going to squeeze him out wide, and the Williams of Game Boy had to avoid that quickly. And now V5's on the attack. So Larkin and Janel side by side. The 4 cars within about 1 car length of each other. What's going to happen here? The Force India is on the inside of the Renault. Janel forced out wide and rejoins next to V5. V5's taking advantage of this. Look at this, there's 6 cars. It's such close proximity. On the inside, Larkin holds on ahead of Janel. Wow, that is insane racing, and it's not over yet. Game Boys has a look down the inside of V5, doesn't quite happen, and now wheel to wheel behind them, we've got Jari and Cantera. Cantera trying to make progress through the field. The Cyber on the inside of the Toro Rosso, and Cantera tries to force his way through and does indeed get it, or does he? Jari's trying to fight back on the inside and forces Cantera off the track. The Spaniard sweeps back round. And I think that was justified given he was forced out there. But wow, the racing is just unbelievable in the midfield. I don't know how to look at it. It's so action-packed.
It's just insane. Like all 6 cars are well, in fact, it's about 8 cars that are all together. New Aloisi's also caught up to this pack, and he's trying to get a move done on Cantera now because he's moved down to 11th. Both Toro Rossos have managed to get past the Spaniard, and both the Toro Rossos are now side by side with each other. This is just giving Cantera the opportunity to try and get a move done. They're now going 3 wide, but Cantera's backed out of it. But it's not over yet. Own down the inside of Jari. Little bit of wheel tap, and I think Own has managed to get the move done. It looks like he has, yes. It looks like New Aloisi's just lagging just a tiny little bit, but doesn't look like it's affecting him that much. Meanwhile, back
it's been
up
a while
ahead.
since
Yeah, it has been a while since we've had like an insane midfield battle in D1.
Yeah.
But up ahead a little bit, we've still got these 4 cars all battling for P5. Larkin, Janel, V5 and Game Boys. Game Boys just losing out a place to V5. I think Janel managed to get the place back from V5 as well. So we'll see as we're coming up towards the start finish line. Larkin not going to have the DRS, but V5 looks like he's gaining massively on Janel. Hasn't gone for a move down into turn 1. He was going to get a better exit out of the centre S's though. And it looks like V5 has got a really good exit.
V5 looking at the Renault, but it's going to be a rash move down into turn 4 if he wants to pull that one off. One thing that we've kind of missed through all the wheel-to-wheel racing, and as I say that, Cantera battling with Jari and Aloisi, which isn't exactly helping me, but Spain has actually gone up into the lead, caught and past Harry, and Harry is actually, surprisingly, really struggling. I think he's taken the life out of his tyres because he's losing seconds per lap at this stage. Really struggling, and now Jim is closing the gap ahead. So Spain, at the moment, is in the possession to take P3 in the championship away from Jim and Mitch. So that's fantastic from him. He stays out. Harry, predictably, is going to go into the pits. He has completely destroyed his tyres, and is that going to compromise his strategy in this race? That's not good for the Mercedes. Pits in, he's going to put on the mediums with the aim of getting to the... Oh, Jim picks up a penalty. That's one to look out for, certainly. But yeah, we've got Harry into the pits along with Janelle, and those guys putting on the mediums, I suspect. So we could be seeing them going to the rain period, and yeah, that's going to spice things up at the end of this race.
I think that is probably wise that the pair of them do come in. Obviously, with rain being at the end of the race, they'd want to try and have the best sort of tyre wear coming towards the end of it, and if their tyres are now dying, they may as well just make the pit stop. Plus, Janel was in a battle with all of these guys. They're all still battling, so it's given Janel the clear air to try and make some time up on these guys. And obviously, when they all pit, then Janel should be the one that actually comes up ahead. Own is now side by side with Game Boys, and Own has managed to get the move done on the Williams driver. So yeah, the super soft tyres are now going off. It's now time for the soft tyres, or the soft runners, to start making their way up the grid, and Own is obviously showing that as we speak.
Larkin under heavy pressure from V5, and he is going to box into the pits, so we won't be seeing any of that battling going on. Interestingly, Spain, the race leader, stays out. Jim, who was running in P2 or net P3, has boxed. Where is he going to come out relative to Harry? Harry, the Mercedes, looks like he's going to be just ahead of the Spaniard. Yeah, so the Britain moves through in the Mercedes, but not too far ahead, but certainly this undercut could come into it could be used to his advantage of maybe trying to claw back some time on Spain. So Spain has got to be careful here. His tyres can't be in the best of states. He's managing it well. He's holding about a 14-second gap to the cars behind, controlling the race. But of course, when he was leading, he's had a couple more laps of almost certainly losing time to Harry. So I'm assuming that the Haas man is going to come into the pits. Indeed he does. So when he emerges, where is he going to come out relative to Harry?
I think he should be ahead of him. I think he might come out ahead of him. Harry's just coming around the penultimate corner now. I think he will come out ahead. Interestingly enough, Janel's come out about 2 seconds ahead of Larkin as well. And Chapelele is being caught up by the Renault driver. But I'm on board with Harry. Where is Spine in relation to the Mercedes driver? Spine is just coming out of the pits now. Coming around.
Oh, it's close, it's close.
I think Spine's done it. Has he?
Or has he? Yeah, he just about manages to hold that, but he had a 2-second gap to Harry. That 2-second gap is no more. As Harry going to be a bit more switched on these mediums, he's still running very low on ERS. Of course, Spain will have the cold tyres. It's not going to help his grip around turn 6 at Ferradura. Look at Harry, he's closing in, dives down the inside into 7, and Spain leaves him the space. Harry goes all over the curb on the inside. There's still wheel to wheel there, these two great drivers going at it, and Harry swoops on the outside. He's into the lead, into the beak of the battle for the 13th time, and he now gets himself through into the net lead of this race. Spain is going to want to take that back though. He's got almost full ERS, and he's been really just driving a really intelligent race so far, but those cold tyres clearly playing into Harry's hands. And behind him, and we've got V5 who's coming under pressure from Cantera. He boxes, he went a long way on those super softs, about 3 or 4 laps longer than Harry, for example. But Harry retakes the net lead of this race, got Newell Luigi just in front of him to navigate. So even though the Mercedes now ahead of the Haas driver, it picks up a penalty, but I'd say this race is far from over just yet.
Yeah, without a doubt. Spine being, what was it, about 3 seconds ahead of, no, 2.5 seconds ahead of Doom. Harry managing to get past Spine relatively easy. I thought Spine was going to put up more of a fight than that, to be completely honest with you. But he's managed to get past. Chapelele and Janel are also currently battling. They're both side by side, actually, coming out of turn 4. Janel is down the inside of the Ferrari, and I think Janel has managed to make the place up. So, Janel is actually on... Oh, it says he's on... Yeah, he's on medium tyres. Sorry, on the screen it says he's on softs, but the actual telemetry says that he's on medium tyres. So, Janel manages to get past the Ferrari man of Chapelele. Larkin is actually closing up behind him as well with these two battling. Janel has a little bit of a lock-up, but doesn't look like it's affected him too much. Interestingly enough, New Waluigi, Jarry and Owens are the only ones that are left on the soft tyres. And as I say, that New Waluigi comes into the pits. So, where is he going to come out in relation to, well, to be honest, in relation to his teammate? I think that was who he was close by to start off with. Janel is just defending from the Ferrari man of Chapelele. Moved in inside, but then straight back to the racing line. And I think Janel's got the better exit out of the two coming out of the center S's, but he's not the one with DRS or slipstream. Is Chapelele going to be able to get a move done on the Renault driver? He thought about it, but didn't manage to get one done. And as I said, this is just helping Larkin to catch up to these guys immensely.
Yeah, the Force India man smelling blood of the two cars ahead of him. Newell Luigi's come out just behind his teammate, about 2 seconds adrift of V5. But that has benefited Harry because he was coming up behind him, and now he's been released into clean air. One guy he's going to have to definitely contend with is Cantera on older medium tyres. He wants to stretch those a little bit longer. He's up behind Owen, and Owen denies us of a battle as he boxes, which forces Jarry to stay out, which is going to force Harry to get held up. So this is an interesting dynamic now in this battle for the lead of this race. So now Harry may have to navigate Jarry up ahead of him. It's still running really low on the RS. Harry, he's made a few mistakes in this race despite his great pace. He's struggled with his tyre wear and he's struggled with his ERS. Yet he still leads this race, which is just a testament to his raw pace. But his racecraft is going to get tested here. Jarry, he is very good at wheel-to-wheel combat, and Harry is going to put him under attack. He may have to bide his time because you'd expect that the Toro Rosso will box at the end of this lap. Harry now closing in. Of course, he would know the strategy of Jari. He'll just want to get it moved on as quickly as possible. And now things get interesting. He closes in, and Jari under pressure now. And is he going to just step aside? I don't think so. Harry looks to get a good run around the final corner, and all this time he's losing out, and Spain closes in. And the race just heats up a little bit. Is Jari going to pit? He must, surely. Yes, he does. Harry is now released. He's got DRS, which is going to be a big help for him, but Spain still has a slipstream. Stop-go for Jari. That's not going to help him one bit. Now, as they go through the Senna S's, Harry gets out pretty nicely. He should be safe to Spain, but Cantera just up the road. That's going to throw a spanner in the works. That battle for the lead about to get tasty as the two race leaders close in on Cantera.
Yeah, Spine is just right behind Harry. I think obviously where Harry was getting held up behind Jari, it's allowed the Haas driver to catch up to the Mercedes man. It's all on Cantera. Is he going to be able to take these tyres to when it starts to rain? Obviously, it's supposed to be towards the end of the race, but is he going to be able to hold it to the point where it does start raining and be within that sort of top three? Because as I said, that will play a massive part in this top three for championship, because Cantera could be the one that it could cost his own teammate that P3.
And side by side, further down the field, V5 swoops around the outside of Owen. Good move from the McLaren man. He's got older tyres than these guys, but it doesn't stop him from putting up a good fight. As Harry, as I say, that swoops down the inside, that is immense for him. He's put a car between himself and his main rival, and Harry now is released. He's got nothing to worry about now. He just needs to get on with it, try and defend from the Sauber behind him, but I don't think that Cantera is really interested in fighting him, seeing as he's on much older tyres. He knows this isn't his fight. But the thing that we've got to look out for now is how Spain copes with this, because now he's got to navigate the Sauber. He's not going to want to let Harry get out of sight at all. So is he going to go aggressive as the Haas man? As Cantera goes very late on the brakes, almost hitting Harry, and that could have ended in a disaster, certainly for both drivers, but they managed to come out of it unscathed. Spain is pursuing that Sauber now as he swoops around the Mika Pato. I think he is just going to bide his time, and Harry has got a chance of breaking out the DRS range of Spain. So Harry really getting on with it and starting to move it into a position of potential dominance in this race. I'm not going to suggest Spain is going to go away just yet, but he's going to find it a bit tough to get past Cantera, because Cantera still has DRS from Harry ahead.
Yeah, he's definitely got to make the move on the Sauber driver if he wants to have any chance of keeping up with Harry. I think Cantera's just going to slow him down. Obviously, with his tyres now going off, Spine being on 6-lap old tyres, he's got to get past him. But Cantera is not going to give this one up without a fight. He wants to try and help his teammate as much as he can. Spine trying to hold it around the outside of the Sauber driver, and I think Cantera has managed to hold it, but it doesn't look like it's over yet. Spine trying to go down the inside of Cantera, up the hill, lunges it straight down the inside, and that is the move done for the Haas driver. There's not much that Cantera could do, but he's already built, Harry's already built the second gap up from Spine. Spine, you remember, he has got a penalty, and so does Doom. Now, as I said, if Cantera manages to hold these tyres to the end of when the rain arrives, this could change a lot of things. It could change it drastically.
Yes, indeed. Of course, the penalties could come into play. Cantera trying to make these tyres last. Of course, he doesn't seem to have anywhere near the pace of those guys up front, but that's inevitable on 10-lap older tyres than Harry, 12-lap older tyres than Spain. But you can see he did put up a very good fight against Spain, obviously wanting to help his teammate, as you said. As up just a little bit further back, Janil still trying to hold off Schiaparelli and Larkin. It's a great scrap that's going on between these three. And Schaff in a good position around turn one, but gets a massive slide. I don't know if he was hit by Larkin potentially, or the back end just got away from him, but Larkin's took advantage of that. So whoops around the outside into turn two, and has grabbed himself P6. And now, Schaff, he's not going to be happy with that. He's going to want to get back, but he's not got momentum in the back straight. Larkin up into sixth, and he's just about within that DRS range of Janul. It's going to be a real battle of just sheer pace between those two to see if Janul's able to break away or if Larkin's able to get back within that, and he does get back within it just for the time being. So I don't know if Larkin hit Chapelele or if Chapelele just made a mistake. But either way, it's possession for Larkin, and Chap drops back. But he's still in the fight, and I'm sure it's not over yet.
No, it's definitely not over yet. With these two, Larkin and Chapelele are both similar paced. I know, obviously, with Larkin being in D1, Chapelele being in D2, same with myself. We're all relatively similar paced, I would say. Chapelele, I know, is not going to give this one up without a fight, and same with Larkin. Both are trying to get this P5. I would technically say is best of the rest, because obviously you've got the guys up the top there, maybe excluding Cantera, all trying to battle for, well, the best points of position that they can all get. And Larkin's got the opportunity to see if he can overtake, well, he's not going to be able to overtake Mitch because he's down in 6th. If he was in 1st, it would be a different matter. But Larkin's just trying to grab as many points as he possibly can. He wants to try and finish ahead of, I think it was, who was just behind him in the championship? It wasn't New Waluigi. To be fair, he could actually overtake New Waluigi.
Oh yeah, good point. Yes, obviously they will Luigi. Or is it? I'm confused here. It's I need to check the standings. Hold on, because I'm not quite sure the situation right now. Um, so yeah, as you can see there, Spain has actually managed to claw back on Harry. So Harry again gets a gap, and Spain just seems to have the superior race pace, I'd say, at this stage. Because every time Harry's able to get a bit of a gap, Spain just closes it right back up, and we've got a race on our hands now. Spain and Jim, he's gone past his teammate because Cantera wasn't able to make them last all the way to the rain and has to box. But now Spain, he's going to have the DRS. He's still quite a decent way back, but he's going to have Slipstream. And Harry isn't able to utilise all of his DRS, but Spain closes in. He doesn't close in enough. And I'm just looking for the championship standings. It's not that easy to find. There we are. Yeah, so it's New Waluigi who's just ahead of Larkin by 11 points in the standings. Right now, I believe Larkin's still not able to make it done, but he is now crawling all over the back of the Rhino of Janul. So Larkin is sniffing blood still and chasing him down. But Nemo Luigi, I believe this would put them tied on points, if I'm not mistaken, if Larkin is able to get past Janul.
What would that put him on? That would put him on 12. With New LFG getting 1, that's 11. Yeah, they'll be on the exact same amount of points. Because I think New Waluigi was 11 points ahead of him.
Janul almost lost it through turn 14, and that's going to put Larkin all over the back of him now. So Larkin is going to go for it here. He's going to open the DRS right now, and he's going to chase him down to the inside. Goes Janul hard on the left. And now running outside goes Larkin once again. Janul very late on the brakes, trying to hold it, but can't quite do it. Larkin swips around. Still though, Janul is there and forces his way back through. That was aggressive, but he managed to make it work, and Larkin must be shocked. And now Shap is right in there as well. He's chasing down the force end there. And Larkin is going after Janul as well, up to the outside, but he may get caught napping here. Shap has a look down the inside and almost comes to a stop there. Not sure what happened there. Game Boys, who was running a quiet race, is now on the back of the Ferrari. Cantera's out. So what's happened there? Oh, there's been an incident between Cantera and V5. Yeah, so they've both had an incident going through turn 5. Both drivers are out. And what that does is it helps Neo Luigi, who moves up 2 places, and Larkin has got his work cut out if he wants any chance of grabbing that championship position off him now.
Yeah, he'd need to move up to where Doom is. He'd need to get P3 if he wants to actually have any... Well, I think that just to be tied with him. So... This is going to be an interesting one. I'm not too sure if Larkin is actually going to be able to get that place done, because as I said, he'd need to get up to where Doom is, and he's about 17 seconds behind him. Oh, sorry, 14 seconds behind him. He's trying to go around the outside again of Janul, but Janul just doing well to defend that position, holding it down the inside. Just behind him as well, Chapelele and Game Boys were both side by side, but Chapelele managed to hold it. He isn't going to have any DRS though, and Game Boys will. So, will Game Boys be able to get him past Chapelele coming up towards turn 4? He's going to try and go around the outside of the Ferrari man, and I think he's managed to get it done, but Chapelele isn't going to give this one up just yet. He's got the inside going down to turn 5, but coming up the hill. Game Boys has the inside line. Chapelele is still not willing to give this one up. And still going to try and hold it around the outside of the Williams driver. Coming towards the inside of, I think that's turn 7 and 8. Oh, Oh, he's forced Game Boys out a little bit there and has managed to retain P6, but he's lost a lot of time to both Janel and Larkin.
Indeed, there. But speaking of Janel and Larkin, Larkin not far away once again. The two of them both, Larkin with slightly more ERS to play with, and he's going to use that to full effect in overtake mode. He opens the DRS, he's up into 8th gear, and Janel looks like he's going to be too far away. Larkin quite intelligently not going for the move into turn 1 as Shap has another look down the inside of Game Boys. These two are just absolutely going at it. Further up the road though, Larkin now is going to have a go at the Renault. Janel switches to the inside and to the outside. Now goes Larkin. They're absolutely parallel onto the brakes, and on the inside Janel, slight lock up, but he holds the place. Now on the inside, Game Boys tries to force his way past Shap, who goes a little bit out of line, and now Jari now is having a look to the outside of the Ferrari, and Sheffield aggressively cuts across the nose of the Dutchman and holds on to P7. But yet this track just promotes such incredible racing, and just seeing the entire midfield and the top two just go at it with just nothing being let go. Of course, this is the final race of the season, so these guys are just letting loose, and it's providing us with absolutely fantastic racing for absolutely every driver in the field.
Yeah, it is giving us a quality race at this point. To be fair, obviously the top two right well within each other, and I'm pretty sure Spine has got the DRS on Harry, but he's not close enough to get a move done on the Mercedes man. If things stay where they are, Doom will stay in P3, because obviously if Cantera haven't moving down, or well DNFing now, as things stand, Doom is 3rd in the championship. Spine would need to get past Harry and build up that 3-second gap if he wants any chance of beating Doom in this championship. All he's got to do is get past Harry. But I don't think Harry will let him pie that easy. And even get 2 seconds on him. Not 2 seconds, sorry, 3 seconds ahead of him. As Larkin is only within a 10th of Janel. They're both side by side of each other, but Janel just holding down that inside once again. And Larkin just can't seem to get a move done on the Renault driver.
Yeah, he's really pushing forward. He had to go running outside of turn 4, couldn't quite do it. But yeah, Janel defending very well, as is Spain. I say that, they're side by side for the lead. And sorry, I said as is Harry, I mean, but Spain tried it running outside of turn 2, and it didn't quite work out. Now he's going to have another go down into turn 4, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. Side by side behind them, Larkin outside of Janel. Janel again very late on the brakes, tries to hold it down the inside, and Larkin's got the inside for turn 2. I've seen Janel go running outside, and he's done it again, forces Larkin out wide. Don't think the Force India is going to be particularly happy with that move, but he's going to try and fight back on the fin, but I don't think he's going to be quite there. Janel cuts across the nose and once again just stays ahead, as does Game Boys ahead of Chaparral. The two Torossos are getting stuck in as well, and right on the back of this, so the midfield just condensing, as I believe Game Boys and Chaparral are lapping a little bit quicker than Janel and Larkin. So all of these guys coming together and setting up for a thrilling climax to this race. Of course, rain is supposed to come, but I haven't seen any signs of it just yet. There's still definitely sun poking through. So I'm not sure. I think the weather's actually improved since the start of the race, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But up at the front, Spain looking at Harry, doesn't quite get it done, but the battle for the lead still very tense. Is Spain going to be able to get it into turn 4?
Also, the question is, Larkin going to be able to get it past Janel finally up in towards turn 1? There's yellow flags and Chapelele is dropping down the order. I think he must have had a massive accident and is now down in 9th. Larkin is, I think, side by side once again with Janel, but he looks like he's up ahead and has managed to retain that position. So Larkin now up into P4. Janel has got the DRS on the Force India, and now Larkin is going to try and do what Janel has been doing. Janel was trying to push for some reason going down the inside, and he spun and has hit the he's hit the Toro Rosso of Own in the process. That's not good. I don't know what Janel was trying
from my
there.
View, yeah, Janel, he tried to go in. Larkin covered the inside line. It looks like Janel tried to force himself into a gap that wasn't there, and then lost out. And then I believe he hit Chaparral or Game Boys, one of them, as he was going a bit slow in the apex, spun out and collected Owned. That was clumsy from Janel, certainly, and you know, I don't know, he must have been frustrated. He'd held him up for so long, and he's just lost out there. But you've got to keep your head in those situations. Meanwhile, up at the front, though, Spain running outside of Harry, and Harry gives him the squeeze on entry and stays ahead on the exit. And those guys still going at it with everything they've got, but Spain just isn't able to get through. And these guys, Doom is still there in the back of shot, but 2 seconds off these guys. And if the battling becomes more tense up front, wouldn't rule him out either. But now, wheel to wheel, Game Boy's having to defend a little bit from Jari, and he's having a decent race up in sixth. But of course, with his teammate out, he should be able to wrap up, I believe, P9 in the championship. That should be his for sure. And Jari unable to move through past the Williams. And both those guys now stacked up behind Larkin, who probably has earned his current 4th place. He's been pretty much in battles the whole race and has managed to come out of them without incident and just keeping it clean, holding his own, and he's in a good position. But up at the front, Spain and Harry still go at it. Turn 4 once again. What's going to happen this time? Harry gets a great run out of turn 2, and it looks like he's going to stay ahead for now, but I'm sure Spain isn't going to give up yet.
Spine definitely not one to be giving up on a position, especially if it's first position. He's going to want to try and get past Harry. He's on 2 lap younger tyres than the Mercedes driver. It's all a matter of time and when Spine chooses to do it. Remember, him and June both have a 3-second time penalty. Harry, I don't think has one. So, in all honesty, Spine's got to get past him quickly and build up a 3-second gap, which is not easy. Not easy whatsoever.
Harry...
As for the battle for behind, Larkin has a 3-second time penalty, and I think so does Game Boys. I don't think Jari does, and I don't think Chapelele does. So, if Chapelele makes his way back up, like catching up to these guys for 4th, 5th, and 6th, I think we're going to see we're going to see a lot of position changes at the line.
Yes, Ed. Now up at the front, you mentioned Harry not having a penalty. He's in that very tense situation where you have 2 warnings, and of course he'll be doing everything in his power to avoid getting a 3rd one, but being under pressure from Spain isn't exactly helping matters. Spain makes a late dive to the inside of the 4. That's going to catch Harry off guard for sure, and the Mercedes driver's up onto the curb. Spain looks like he's got himself ahead. Round turn 5, he is ahead of the Mercedes, and now he's got the mammoth task of trying to pull out a 3-second gap over Harry. Is Harry going to look to fight back? Of course, DRS is so powerful at this track that he should be able to stay within range. But before we worry about that, let's focus on this battle for P5 as Jari has a little look at Game Boys, doesn't get through. But yes, Harry losing out finally to Spain. Great move from Spain. Switches to the inside of turn 4, but Harry is still very much in touch. And this time he's going to get DRS down into turn 1 and into turn 4.
Yeah, I think Harry might actually just get straight past Spine again. I think it's just going to be back and forth and to the point where Doom's going to end up catching up to these guys. So, let's see. Harry, DRS, open, in overtake on the Haas driver. Is he going to try one up the inside? No, he isn't. He's going to wait until he gets past these center S's. Does he get a much better exit than the Haas driver, though? It doesn't look as if he did. He got a bit of oversteer, and it looks like Spine is the one that has gotten the better exit, and I think Spine is the one that's going to remain up in 1st position. But as I said, Harry hasn't gotten a penalty yet. He needs to keep off. Well, he needs to just basically keep it on the track, and he's won the race. But if Harry picks up that penalty and Spine stays where he is, then Spine will take 3rd position. His yellow's in sector 3. Is that Janel by any chance? It is, and there's Rain.
It is, yeah. Oh. This is gonna... If this rain comes down quickly, it could create a dilemma for these guys. Do they pit? Do they stay out? I mean, I'm not expecting it to come down that quickly, so I reckon these guys are just going to try and brave it out and get to the end of the race on these slicks. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Someone like Jari could be in for a good... could be in a good position here, because he's got the youngest tyres in the field. So he's going to be one to look out for. Of course, for now, DRS is still active, so Harry is still going to be utilising that to try and chase down Spain. Spain's going to be a little bit nervous, of course. The rainy conditions, he's going to have to adapt to those and keep it on the island. But certainly Harry, no, he's not close enough. He doesn't seem to have the straight line speed to challenge, and he's not able to really stay on the gearbox of Spain through the middle sector, which is just allowing the Haas driver to hold on when it comes to the straights, he has enough of a gap, so he doesn't have to be worried. Behind them, Game Boy's still hassling Larkin, and these two have been together for a large portion of the race, certainly, but no moves being made just yet. Larkin seems to have good enough pace that it doesn't really affect him. Well, the DRS of the two cars behind him doesn't really have an effect. But Game Boy's still going to give it everything he has, and he's closing in as Yellow's in sector 3. Jano, he's somehow, I don't know what he's doing. I don't believe he's spun on the main straight, so I think he must have done that on purpose, which isn't great to see. He's coming to the pits and he stopped on the pit lane entry. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's focus more on the battle for the lead. A little feint to the inside from Harry, and it seems to have worked. Spine is offline around turn 1 and turn 2. That's going to compromise him. Harry is jerking all over the back foot, gets onto the curve out of turn 3, and somehow is still going in a straight line. He did well to hold that one off. Janelle's actually gone into the inters, so even though he's not really in this race anymore, it'll be interesting to see if how he fares relative to these guys. It doesn't not look like inters to me, so but of course he's trying something radical, not quite working out potentially, as Luigi's actually going to try it, I believe. He was sitting just behind him, but up in the battle for P5, Jari's going to have a look outside of Game Boys. He's going to have the slipstream for the Force India ahead, so it's going to be handy. Outside he goes, but Game Boys has got the inside line. He can work with that racing line and forces Jari just a little bit wide. Behind him, Harry's lost time. Harry's made a mistake and he's dropped back by Jube. And now, what this does is is Harry going to be able to get this back on the ant? No, he's gone off again.
And there's
he's got a penalty for that.
There's the penalty. So,
wow.
Spine, Doom, Harry, all three of the top 3 have a penalty. If Doom doesn't get another penalty, he remains in P3 for the championship. As it stands, I think Spine is... Oh! Harry's binned it.
Wow. Harry out of the race. It just seems like the tyres just completely left him there. Jim's been off as well at turn 3. These guys now on just the penultimate lap of this race, and these guys, they're getting a massive fright, potentially even a heart attack when they see that stricken Mercedes car. And the track, even though it doesn't look that wet to me, these guys just can't quite keep their cars in a straight line. It's clearly just these tyres just not holding up. Yeah, well, DRS hasn't been disabled yet, which is baffled. They're speaking of devil there. Yeah, so DRS disabled. What is going to happen with Waluigi? He's in 7th. He's got a massive gap to the cars ahead, though. He's definitely going to be quicker. As you can see, as he goes into turn 1, he's gaining time hand over fist. He looks like he's going to stay ahead of Larkin in the standings, I believe. Even with Larkin now inheriting the podium position, I don't think it's enough for him. Look how slow these guys are going. I'm watching this battle for P3.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely crawling around the track. And Waluigi, the amount of time he's gaining is outrageous. I think he could be...
He could be within this battle. Jume's just coming to the pits on the final lap. So well, Jume might have actually costed him. He can afford it, but Larkin, remember, he's got a 3-second time penalty. So does Larkin, so does Game Boys. Jari doesn't. If Jari stays within 3 seconds of Doom, he could be well within, well, even within the championship.
He's had to change his front wing. Doom's had to change his front wing. And he's okay, there's a little graphical glitch there. Whereas Larkin is coming down the main straight now. He's been overtaken by Janot. These guys now on the final lap. Spine is heading for a comfortable race-winning margin. Larkin's gone off at turn 1, rejoins, and these guys, the
Game Boys has
spun. Have gone. Game Boys has spun. It's chaos now. Jari is just picking his way through this. He's the only one that seems to be able to keep his car on track. Game Boys having a spin. He drops behind Shap, but at the same time seems to be struggling himself. Waluigi is going to be loving life right now in those enters, and I reckon he is going to have Game Boys in his crosshairs now, as he's going to see the Williams up ahead of him, but up to the line now. His Spine has got himself through. Jari's not close enough to Doom to really make a difference. So Spine is kind of just about. He's not even running full throttle on the main straight. He's just
I can't say I blame him.
I
can't say I blame him, but he is your final race winner for Division 1. It is Spine in the Haas. Congratulations to him. If Doom doesn't bin it, which hopefully he doesn't, then Doom will take P3, and it looks like the Sauber Spaniard is the one that takes P3 in the championship. So,
By 1 point.
congratulations to June by 1 point. By 1 point.
Wow.
Congratulations to June for finishing third in the championship overall for Division 1. Spine for winning the Brazilian Grand Prix. Jerry had I forgot about that. He had an unsolved stop-go penalty, so New Waluigi's had moved up ahead of him.
Wow. Luigi and Luigi really taking advantage of all the chaos that was going on around him. A wise decision in the end to fit those intermediate tires and really paid off for it. But it is Spine who's going to climb on top of the podium, just ahead of Jim. Jim, of course, manages to win in that title battle, or the battle for third place. But it did come down to the wire. Of course, 1 point separated the two of them in the standings at the end. And yes, so Spain celebrates a victory. Bit bittersweet for him, it's his maiden win, but of course, it's going to be a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth knowing that third place couldn't quite happen for him.
Yeah, commiserations to Spine for it managed to finish fourth in the end in the championship. I don't think the standings actually changed. I think Juma managed to collar third. Oh, hang on, no, sorry. Yeah, Spine actually moved up in the fourth. Did New Waluigi overtake Mitch? I don't think he did.
He
No.
was 14 points behind, yeah.
Yeah. So Mitch finishes in fifth in the championship, who we was all predicting to, well, to storm through this championship, but obviously he hasn't been racing for most of the races, and that's obviously cost him P1. He's now in P5. So Mitch finishing in fifth in the championship with New Waluigi in sixth and Larkin in seventh. And I believe who was in eighth before?
Decky, I believe.
Decky, yeah, Decky, Own, and Jarry. Where does that put the pair of them? Because I think
I think,
Own didn't finish because of Janel. Jarry finished seventh, I believe.
6th, I believe.
Yeah, because he had the stop go, didn't he? Yeah, sixth. So Jarry finished in
Yeah.
sixth. So he's ahead of his teammate. He's not ahead of Decky. So Jarry is the one that wins at the Battle with the Toro Rossos. What a race!
Yeah, that was chaotic at the end, especially. Yeah, it was like a race of two halves in terms of the driving standards. I hate to be that guy, but the start of the race was so clean, everyone going at it, and just nothing of controversy. I think as the conditions got a bit more tricky, we saw quite a bit of incidents near the end of that race, but certainly fun to watch. Great show putting on, despite the small grid. They really delivered for us.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt, that was a very interesting race. I must say that was actually probably. I don't think there was a better way that that race could have ended for the division. To be honest, I think that just shows how close there are. Like people are within the division. Like you've obviously got the battle at the top with Spine, Harry, Doom, Mitch when he does race, Decky when he does race as well. You got and Rick as well. You got guys like those that will all battle for that top six, maybe even seven. And then you've also got all the guys that would be within like the midfield. And it's just insane. It is just insane.
Yeah, it's not like a typical F1 season where you have your front runners, your midfield, and your back markers. There's no real back markers in this league,
No.
in any of the divisions, I'd have to say. Well, D3 maybe, but
Yeah.
but yeah, it's so good to see these guys. Even though we've not had the best attendance this season, the ones that have showed up, they've just given us, because they're so close and competitive, it's given us some great racing, some great races, and yeah, I'm happy with this final race that they put on a great show.
Yeah. It was. That was definitely a great show. As I said, I don't think there was probably a better race we could have ended it on. So once again, congratulations to Spine for winning in Brazil, winning the final race of season one. I will thank everyone for joining us. Thank you to you as well, Dan. and also all the other guys that have been commentating on D1 throughout the season. D3 is currently happening right now. They're on lap 24 of 36, and D2 will be starting in about 20 minutes' time. You don't want to miss that race whatsoever. I promise you now, you do not want to miss that race because we still have the battle for the championship. So let's just hope I come out on top. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I've been Jaco, and obviously he's been Dake, Dan, Tams, whatever name you want to call him. I don't really care. I don't really care. Um, thank you guys for watching throughout the season, and we'll catch you in season 2 on the new Formula One game.
Bye.